2, and 3. Okay, Jessica, you tell me which camera shutter sounds better. Charles's own or mine? 1, 2, and 3. Sounds like film, right? Okay, I'm going closer for half body shot. 1, 2, and 3. Same pose. Good, yes, just like that. You can turn your face a little bit. Good. 1, 2, and 3. I think you're round up 3. I think you're good to go. Try not to put your back against.
Not symmetrical, right?
Not correct, yes. That's good. Just like that, that's good. Good. 1, 2, and 3. Very nice. Let me see if I can show you that. That's the disadvantage of this one. It's still running to the car. It's very slow. About 10 or 11 seconds. This is 16 years old.
Oh, but still, it's like...
The images, this has a cult following because it was discontinued early, never sold in the US.
Okay.
Less than 2,000 made, only sold in Japan, Europe. But this still has a lot of people like holding on to it. But if you can see the colors of it too.
It's pretty. It's very vibrant.
Oh yeah, the colors are good. Hard to see, Charles, but yeah.
Looks good.
If I drop this recording, this angle like that. Yeah. So it doesn't look too boring. See, that's a good camera shot. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. And don't hurt yourself on the drainage pipe, but when I count to 3, that's when 1, 2, and then you really arc and look up. Good, yeah. Okay, so we reset, stretch, good. Same pose, but I'm gonna get closer, half body. 1, 2, and 3. Can you show your eyes a little bit? Put down your shades a bit? Yeah, then you have to because your shades are pretty big, so yeah. Good, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, kind of looks like you're flicking off for everybody, but it's fine. It's okay. It's okay.
Sorry, followers.
It's fine. Man, I hope audio is recording. 1, 2, and 3. I just want to say thank you so much to Jessica for helping me review the Mamiya ZD. I know the last time you helped me do a camera review, I think it was the Panasonic S1R about 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Yes, and since then a lot has changed. You have a baby now.
Yes.
We're both pretty busy.
Busy, yeah. Busy
so
life.
I haven't had a YouTube video in a while. Your Twitch channel,
Yes.
remember the last video you said you're gonna start your Twitch channel and
Yes.
it's growing, I think, over 500 subscribers.
Yeah, so right now I'm about 495. I'm close to 500 followers.
So make sure, please
Yeah,
follow.
just make sure to follow me, like, subscribe, anything.
Yes.
Twitch.tv/Crown the Empress.
And of course, I'll put it on the screen and in the description for everyone to follow. My first impressions about this camera is it's a little bit bigger than expected and kind of heavy. I do like the shutter sound of this. The rear LCD screen. It's very slow in operation, the whole entire camera. very slow to bring up pictures, and plus the quality of the rear LCD screen is pretty bad. But I do like how I can shoot ISO 50, just so I don't need an ND filter or anything like that. But I'm gonna see how these photos look like when I get home. And I can't really tell, but the colors are not looking too bad from this LCD screen.
Yeah, there's some contrast there,
Yeah.
so it looks good.
Yeah. So after this, you have one more outfit. We're gonna shoot a little bit more here, and then we're gonna go down to Tumon and shoot on the beach in your second outfit.
Got it.
All right. Anything that's distracting is the plant in the back. Okay, all right. Good facial expression. The focus, right now I have it on the center focus point. This camera only has 3 focus points, one in the center, one to the left, one to the right. But so far, focus is really accurate. I'm gonna show you an example here. It's in focus, it's in focus, it's in focus. Gonna take the shot, in focus, taking the shot now. So it's pretty quick in focusing. The AF motor in here is really fast. 1, 2, and 3. 2 and 3. Finally, sun's coming out. Chin down slightly. 3. This camera, the top has a robust magnesium alloy top, very sturdy. I don't think the rest of the body has it. From feeling it, I believe it does. Same thing from the top. I like how it has a lot of dials on the outside where you can change your ISO, your aperture, and even you can change the JPEG or RAW, the quality of the files, and even the metering as well. And I think the dials here, they're very, very sturdy, so you don't accidentally hit them. Like the rear dial is exposure compensation, but it's very stiff and it's very sturdy to turn, so I don't accidentally hit them while I'm doing my photo shoot here. Good, candid shot. 1, 2, and 3. The optical viewfinder of this camera is pretty large, 0.75x magnification and 98% coverage. When looking through this, it is pretty bright. Reminds me of the Pentax 645Z. The rear LCD screen, 1.8 inch, very poor quality, very, very slow in zooming in. Just to even show the photo, because I'm shooting RAW, some people say it's 3 megabytes a second, so the RAW file is about 36 megabytes, so it takes about 11 seconds just to show the RAW file, then even longer just to zoom in. This only takes, and before going into the memory cards, some people say maybe it's a good idea that the screen is so bad to prevent people from chimping all the time of looking at the photos behind the camera, and I see a lot of new photographers do that, always shoot and look, or chimp. And some people say maybe this is the reason why Mamiya didn't want to ship this camera to the US. It was only sold in Asia and Europe less than 2,000 units. So we have your compact flash and SD card. SD card slot doesn't even take I think SD HC cards is very slow standard SD cards. I do have 8 gig compact flash card. A lot of people were saying use the smaller 2 gig sizes, but the 8 gig does work with this camera. I did receive error number 5 one time. I think that could be due to the large size of the compact flash card, but special thanks to Hummervet and eBay. He has a whole bunch of cards for sale, so I'll go over and check him out. He's selling a lot of compact flash cards. This doesn't even do video, of course, only has a FireWire and does like V out jack. I'm not too sure exactly what that is, but yeah, Jessica's changing into her second outfit, and then we're gonna go down to Tumon and shoot on the beach. The grain looks like film grain.
Okay.
So I'm gonna see if I can do ISO 50 all the way up to 400.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's up to you though. Like what you see is like the best with
Yeah. Okay, we live in paradise. But sometimes we forget we live in paradise. Okay, good. On 3. Dr. recording? Yes. 1, 2, and 3. One, 2, and 3. I'm gonna push this up to 100. It goes, I think, 1/3 steps. Is your focus? Okay, I'm gonna do ISO 200 now. Okay, I'm gonna go back down to ISO 50. Okay. The sensor in the Mamiya ZD, it is, I know Jessica's getting a little bit frustrated. It takes like 11 seconds to load each photo. She's looking at the photos now. It is larger than the Hasselblad X1D and the Pentax 645Z at 48 millimeters by, I believe, 36 millimeters. The ISO, there's no auto ISO, so it goes from 50 in increments of 1/3 to 400. Also, the focus points, you don't really see it on screen when you're selecting it. You only see it in the bottom left of the viewfinder, so I just usually just keep it on spot. I mean, the center focus point in the middle, which is like a big circle, and I just focus on Jessica's face and then her body. But overall, the best thing about it, compared to the slow operation of viewing the photos, is the burst speed. I can take about 10 or 11 photos in a row while it's still buffering. So frames per second, about 1.2, burst is about 10, but other than that, the operation of just trying to view the photos is very slow. We have maybe 10 more minutes of light. It's getting dark, so we're just gonna get more shots in. Okay, good. Let me get closer a little bit. It's gonna be nice, looks nice. Good, on 3. Oh gosh, those guys in the background, I gotta edit them out, no problem. 1, 2, and 3. Some pros and cons of this camera. Pros, it's built like a tank. It's a beast. Prevents me from chipping, meaning looking at the photos every time I take the photo. It makes me use it like a film camera. So I'm thinking about my shots more versus always shooting. The cons is, this is a common problem, opening the compact flash or memory card door. It takes 2 hands. As you can see, it's very hard to open. Maybe another con would be just the screen is really slow to load photos. It's actually hard for me to show Jessica after 10 minutes for shooting.
Yes.
And that's my style of how I like to show the model how they look like, because there's no mirror in front of you. You don't know how you look like, so I like to show you so you can get your own feedback. But I can't really do that here, unless you want to spend 10 minutes of you just looking through like 5 photos.
Yeah.
So that's the cons of this, but I think, or I'm gonna say, I know we got really good photos.
Yes, we did.
I can tell already. I mean, just looking at through the viewfinder, taking a shot, and some of the pictures on this low resolution LCD, I know we got really great photos.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a Portra 160 film edit to the photos, because you may have seen him earlier in the video, Charles. He owns a studio. I used the studio a couple times, or more than a couple times for YouTube. He wrote his thesis, he has a master's in photography. So he wrote his thesis on medium format CCD sensors. And he was saying when this sensor first came out, they tried to kind of replicate the film colors. That's what people wanted when they switched over from film to digital.
Yeah.
So we're really excited to see the photos on the screen. How did you like the photo shoot so far?
It was fun. This is my second time shooting
Yes.
with you.
You're
I feel a lot more comfortable than I did the
Good.
first time. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, your Twitch and your Instagram. For
If you
people
can
to
follow
you.
me
Yeah.
at my Instagram _JLGR and my Twitch, twitch.tv/Crown the Empress.
Please subscribe to her Twitch and
please.
Instagram. Follow.
Yes, please.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. And that's a wrap.
Bye.
First time as well. Plaza de España.
I just feel like this time I don't know how to explain it.
You're wasting the life of the shutter.
No, it just shows like the buffering, how I shot 10 or 11 and it takes this long to write to the CF card, like 3 megabytes a second. But I like the light. The light's really cool.
You should use the FireCuda PS5 memory.
FireCuda PS5. This is 5 gigabytes a second. This is 3 megabytes a second. We can probably walk to the car and this will still be buffering. Okay, let's go. All right, we are home now. Let's take a look at some RAW files from the Mamiya ZD. First RAW file you're seeing on your screen, and all these RAW files I'm showing you, they have not been edited in any way. This is straight from the camera. And I shot everything wide open at 2.8. Just zooming in on the first picture, unedited at 100%, it is a very, very sharp lens. Very sharp. You can see the detail in Jessica's glasses, her beanie from Crowns is very detailed. And what I really like is the colors that are coming out from this. The CCD sensor is only 22 megapixels. And that may not seem like a lot of megapixels for 2022, but for me, I always said the sweet spot's kind of like 24 megapixels. Probably in maybe 2 or 3 years, we're going to be seeing around 30 some megapixels is like the sweet spot, but 24 megapixels, since I mostly do portraits and events, is perfect for me. And 22 megapixels for this was a lot back then in 2007, but today it's just fine. Next photo. Again, clicking reset, unedited. Keep in mind, I am using Adobe Lightroom and the profile is just Adobe Color. I did try this in Capture One, and Capture One gave a little bit off on the colors. So I prefer to be using Lightroom. And again, the colors you see on the screen, straight from the camera. Zooming in 100%, it is very sharp. We could even zoom in to 200% here, and there's a lot of detail in Jessica's beanie here, her cap. A lot of detail going on for this sensor. And I just want to show you how easy it is to do color editing with this file, shot at ISO 50. I downloaded this preset called Clover from, I believe, presetlove.com. I need to double check the address, or lovepresets.com. And just clicking Clover, you can just see the dramatic change. It's really nice. Really contrasty that this preset gives a photo. So I was using that in most of my pictures, or actually all of the pictures I was using Clover. Okay, let's move on to the next photo. ISO 50, I just want to show you the dynamic range. So lowering down the highlights, and it's true what they say about CCD sensors, where back then you do ETTR, exposed to the right, meaning you want to make your picture really bright, because CCD sensors, they handle the highlights pretty well, and I can actually pull down the highlights really well, but not so much the shadows. So if you go down to the, let's just zoom back out to 100% here, go down to the shadows, and if I increase shadows all the way, it does look pretty clean to me. Even exposure, actually not bad. They say that this is a 14-bit file, but it's the D/A digital analog. I believe that's what it stands for. Converter converts it down from 14 bits to 12 bits. Let's go to the next photo here. Again, unedited. bringing down the highlights, bring back the sky, increasing the shadows, exposure a little bit. We don't get any noise here, ISO 50. But when we bring it back maybe 1 or 2 stops, which I'm going to show you in the next photo, you're going to see a lot of noise. Again, ISO 50, bringing up the exposure, bringing back the shadows. Yes, we can get the picture back, but just zooming in, you see a lot of color artifacts here, and where it was black before, a lot of color artifacts in Jessica's hair. So bringing it back about 2 or 3 stops, no can do with the sensor, but maybe 1 stop, like you saw in the last 2 photos, you can easily do it. This picture here, again, unedited, ISO 50, very clean. Next is ISO 100, still very clean. ISO 200, a little bit of noise. I'm just going to bring up the exposure. There you go, a little bit of noise on Jessica's face. Let's go back to ISO 100, bring it up about 1. Okay, not bad. So I would say ISO 50 and ISO 100 on the Mamiya ZD DSLR camera is pretty clean. I'm bringing it back. 200, you're kind of pushing it. Zooming out, you can't really see it that much. And a lot of people, when they post-process, they do like to put grain. But at ISO 400, as you can see, has not been edited. When increasing the exposure, you do see a lot of color noise here. But let's just concentrate on the grain itself. Let me see if I can zoom in 200% here. The grain does really look like film grain to me. I remember I have a Mamiya C330, and the grain when I was shooting, I believe, Portra 400 on it, looks very similar to this. It's very interesting. But keep in mind that this is like the latest version of Lightroom, and this raw converter engine does handle ISO 400 pretty good. Back then, people were saying don't even shoot it above ISO 100, it's really noisy. But I'm pretty sure that this Adobe RAW engine did a lot of tweaking and made ISO 400 look pretty good today. This is again shot ISO 50, just showing you the dynamic range, bring back the clouds in the sky, shadows, increasing it, exposure, not bad, again ISO 50. This, I just want to show you that zooming in to 200%, it is pretty good. Shot at 1/120th of a second. And I noticed with this Mamiya ZD, I can actually handhold very slow shutter shots. I can handhold 1/120th of a second. I can handhold 1/110th of a second. And it's actually pretty clear. I can get sharp images. I'm not too sure why that is. It is a larger sensor than a Pentax 645Z and a Hasselblad X1D, but I get little camera shake with this camera. I'm trying to think of any other details I probably left out. I did leave out from the shoot that it does come with the IR cut filter that I have here, and this filter is already in the camera. I believe if I just take out this filter, you're gonna get a lot of infrared, and I think you can do even infrared photography. Don't quote me on this, but this is from what I understand what some other people did. They used a different color filter inside to do infrared photography, so you can easily do that with this camera just by changing the filter for underneath the camera. But other than that, this is a fun camera to play with. A lot of Mamiya 645 autofocus lenses are affordable. I could find them on eBay for a good price. I just don't know if I'm just gonna keep this for fun or I'm gonna use it on like maybe professional shoots for family portraits. I do like the colors coming out from this camera. All the raw files I showed you today, raw, it's in .mef format. Raw files have been unedited and the colors look really good, and just applying a preset to the raw files really make it pop. I hope you enjoyed this review of the Mamiya ZD. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you everyone, and stay safe.